change my clothes my dirty clothes, my black dirty clothes, just forget about it. And my black short shirt or t-shirt, I don't want to talk about it, right? And I do need my hair first. So I haven't thought about that. Yeah, that's. I'm very sure that what you see on a movie like that is most of them is not really worked out on real life. Because typical of bullying or whatever that I'm really happy to talk about that now because most of people nowadays are things to overthinking about stuff like that, like cyberbullying. I think that's this is interesting, that I think that cyberbullying is the most easiest way to solve the problem is cyberbullying. It's very easy. You just can block them and just don't see them, or even better if you're not search anything on your social media or just close it, and just um, send a message or see a storygram or whatever. That's I don't really know about it because I'm not really often to see it. And honestly, I often to see my social media is oftenly when I really broke, when I am tired, and that's why most of people feels bad when they are look at social media. Why? Because they are on a unproductive system on of their body and their bodies, and then they see the productivity activities of people's on a storygram, and they think that's like, you know that they really looks wow, they really look wow and great, while we are still resting time and we'll feel ashamed about ourselves. That's not really have to think about that, because we have to knowledge that our body and our mind is needs to rest, right? And when we rest and we see people's with the productive activities, most of people can control their mind, reality, and imagination. That's they should know that we all should know that we have a rest time, and when we rest and we see people doing productive stuff, we feel ashamed about ourselves. That's normal, but we have to prevent that by total resting. Turn off your lights on a room and sleep on your neat bedroom. That's better than rather than you will see all stuff that's awesome stuff out there on your phone. you know I don't think that's completely wrong, but I just want to help you to not feel ashamed about yourselves when you are on a resting system. I think that's out of topic, but that's okay, because this basically I made a bunch of videos of like this is one of my intention to just share anything that I have done back in the day when I was in school, or even until now, but like most likely that's I talk about middle school. That's a bunch of stupid stuff I've done that time. Okay, yeah, let's just like provocation, right? So if you were compared the movies, how to solve the bullying, because you know uh, you know why they rated, I know this is sensitive or not, but I think that's sensitive. Just so basically it's just not really worth it on a real problem, because they are provocation or verbal bullying. That, and if you were verbally bullied or provoked by words, and this is one of my stupid spirits that I used to uh, strike back by physically attack, physical attack, while they are provokes me by words. And no matter how bad their words, if you are they are not attack you physically and you attack them physically, you're basically wrong too. and and just like me, what I did back in the day when in middle school, I was wrong too. I used to punch and I don't know, I kick or not. I think I just punched my provocators back in the day. There are two, or at least two. At first, that's they touched my head. One of them touched my head like this, and then someone that's and then that's I will this really complex problem, because that's why I hope you are you're a nurse and what I say, because that's really complex, and I just talk about anything I want to share it without script. Maybe with a script sometimes, but this time is no. That's why you are maybe hear me like this. So, and the second provocator is, I think the first step, I think that was, let's tell the story about the second provocator. His initial is P, the first is A, second is P. So on one of subject, one of the time on our class, when I was still in what 7th grade, at one subject class, that's I used to be say something that I don't really want to talk about, that I I bring a poem to my school and that's a really simple poem that's just you can call without any kind of social media or any kind of games. Then his says that I bring poem, and that's true, but I want to protect myself because basically I'm wrong too. But I don't know, but I think I will share that on a next video on a more critical about the problem. Secondly, on remedy tasks on a history class, I remember that. Oh yeah, the first time is that's on a English class. I bring a poem and he's talk to me that it's not really wrong and not really right. The right thing is I bring poem, right, but the wrong thing is he says my phone is ringing. That no, my phone is not ringing. That's I know. This I know. And secondly is on a history class, on a remedy task. That's same, right? Is a right and wrong at the same time too. So that's on remedy task. I under my table class I have used there. Uh, there is a bag where in the bag is a paper with a bad score. But what I think that time is at least I have something to write at the remedy test rather than a blank paper. I mean, on the questions and with my names, but and my identification like name, class, or an abstention number, but I have don't write anything. That's just not really right. At least I write something, right? So at least I am answer something and not keep the answers placement blank. So I look at down my table and there are paper with the bad scores, and there are some answers, but most of them are wrong and I don't even know what's wrong and what's right. But one of my friend is she's a woman, around my age, of course, because we are in the same generation, right? Year 2016 and until 2017 on 7th grade. So that girl is besides me on the right, and she sees. I think she's on remedy test too. She look at me, look at down my table, look at uh, the papers that's full of answers that's not really right, and that scores that. So basically, I'm a cheated. While most of the answers that I cheat are wrong, but their reaction is too are too complicated. it's it's more than I deserved. I think I deserved to tell that thought that I cheated, but most of the answers I cheated is really most of them are wrong, and basically they are provoked me, just like I am cheated on a big test, while I'm do is just cheated on a remedy test. That's basically no matter how great my scores, or even uh, 100 scores, no matter how big my grade, I still got a minimal results, a minimal grades. They are really overreact. They're not really right and not really wrong. The right thing is they provoke me. It's okay because I'm really cheated. But the wrong thing is I cheated on a remedy test, and even if I have 100 grade, I still got a minimal score. I think it's there to overreact about that. Oh, there is one more. So the first, second, and third. The third kid is he, that I just realized that he is likely to not really have many friends. But I just realized that now. And I just realized how stupid I was when I was middle school, the seventh grade. Then he was get out. I mean, um, move out from my school. Want me to another city. That that I heard is because he is cannot hold his own because he's provoked by his friends too, our friends too, on a seventh grade. That I just realized that now. That time I first time I used my glasses, and he talked that you know that I don't really used to have glass wearing glass. And the stupid things I've done again, I almost punched him on the nose. And my two friends, let's just say initial name on of their nickname are E and S, I guess. Yes, they hold my hand, and that's right. And one more is a nickname on an initial name. His initial name is R, but likely C as the, I don't know, favorite nickname, I guess. I don't really remember because I think I will share it by one. This is like confusing, But one thing, right? Don't share it as a, what can I say, uh, empathy or sympathy or empathy. Because I don't need sympathy. Just pass. All I want is just share my experience. All of you to not have done the same mistakes on a provocation. Thank you.